I found out my dad is a bop. I was cleaning out the attic one afternoon when I came across an old box of photo albums. I smiled to myself as I started taking a trip down memory lane, looking at all the pictures. So many pictures of me with my parents, taking trips during the summer, among other things. I frowned when I suddenly picked up a picture of my dad with a woman and 2 kids. The woman had her arm around my dad's waist in an intimate gesture. My dad looked so happy and the kids wore huge smiles on their faces. I turned the photo around and froze. The date read May 12, 2021. That was 4 years ago, during the last game of the season. I had scored the winning goal, but my dad was on a business trip and couldn't make it. None of this made any sense. I needed to figure out the truth, so I started investigating by calling Grandma Rose first. She answered on the second ring, her voice cheerful and unsuspecting. "Grandma," I said a little hesitantly, "do you know anything about this woman called Jane Richards?" I was looking at the back of the photo that had a few names on it. I assumed it was the names of the children and the woman. Grandma Rose was silent for a moment before she cleared her throat a little uncomfortably. "That's a conversation for your parents," she said firmly. "Is there another reason you called?" I read the message loud and clear. She was refusing to answer my questions about this woman, but she knew about her, which meant this wasn't really a secret. So why were my parents keeping this from me? That night, I was quiet during dinner, but as soon as Mom started serving dessert, I couldn't hold it in any longer. So I blurted, "When were you going to tell me about Jane Richards?" Dad froze and the blood drained from his face. Mom looked confused as she glanced between us. Dad's hand shook as he took a bite of pie. Then he shot me a glare. "Leave it alone, Jess," he ordered sharply. I leaped to my feet in anger. "Why?" I demanded. "Don't want Mom to know you were having an affair? Are you still seeing them? Your other family? That's who they are, right? Your other family?" Dad was seething in his seat and he refused to look at Mom. "Go to your room," he snarled. "Right now." I slammed my hands down on the surface of the table. "Just tell the truth for once in your sorry life," I yelled. Silence fell and my parents both stared at me as if they've never seen me before. Dad shook his head slowly. "Room, now." He wasn't going to budge. I sneered at him before shoving myself away from the table and stomping up to my bedroom. I didn't see Dad again for the rest of the week. He said he had to go on an emergency business trip. Was he going to see his secret family? I was so irritated that he wouldn't just tell us the truth about them. So after school the next day, I cornered Mom in the kitchen while she was stress baking. "Jess, don't you have homework?" she asked tiredly. "Aren't you concerned your husband is cheating on you?" I demanded sharply. Mom just shook her head. "You don't understand," she muttered. "Your father isn't cheating on me, I promise. Go do your homework." I shook my head stubbornly. "I need to know the truth," I pleaded with her. "I need to know my dad isn't a complete monster." Tears entered my eyes and dripped down my cold cheeks. "Please." Mom sighed and pointed to the kitchen table. "Sit," she said. "I'm going to tell you what your father told me. He told me everything last night. You might as well know the truth since you can guess he's not on a business trip, but with her and her children." I waited as my mom gathered herself and began the story. "Your father met Jane about 10 years ago on a business trip. He had an affair and immediately told me about it. We went to counseling and he promised he never saw her again. Apparently, 5 years ago, she found him on another business trip and told him she had 2 kids, twins. They were his from their affair. He thought he could juggle 2 families and he's been seeing his other family during each business trip he's taken. That's the truth." I stared at my mom with wide eyes. "And you're okay with it?" I demanded. She shrugged. "He isn't still having an affair," she answered, "but I refuse to keep him from his other children." She walked out of the room, ending the conversation abruptly, and my relationship with my parents never recovered.